This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. Looking for that last card to complete your online deck or just to get the latest booster packs in town, they literally have everything, and you can use the coupon code ZapDoesTCG for 5% on everything on the website. Also, this video is sponsored by cardmarket.com. Cardmarket is a European platform where you're able to buy as well as sell cards to people all across Europe. You can use the referral name ZapDoesTCG to help support the channel. Also, this video is sponsored by yourplaymat.com. Want to create your own custom playmat? There's only one address. Go check out yourplaymat.com by clicking the link down below. You'll get 10% off your order. They ship worldwide, so start creating your own custom playmat. Last but not least is Dragon Shield. DragonShield.com is of course the affiliated link down below in the description. You're gonna be able to buy sleeves, deck boxes, as well as binders, and Dragon Shield is the best brand to help protect your cards and keep them safe from any scratches whatsoever. They are the best quality sleeves around, so yeah, I'm a big fan, so thanks for sticking around with the commercials. Let's get it going. What's up YouTube, it's ZapDoesTCG here and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. Today we're going to be checking out the Lost Abyss set. There has been some cards that have been revealed, and these are actually very interesting because we're going to be getting these in our Lost Origin set coming in the 9th of September if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be super interesting to see which cards that are going to have a crazy impact in our meta game. Unfortunately, these cards are not cards that we're getting for Worlds, so it's going to be after Worlds but for the new season. So hopefully you guys are excited for yeah, some new cards. And yeah, as always, if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You're gonna get daily Pokemon TCG content on here that you don't want to miss out on. I actually just woke up and I wanted to give you the card scans as early as possible because you want to see the latest Pokemon TCG information always. So without further ado, let's just get this video started. And yeah, if you guys are enjoying the content that I'm putting out every single day, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in ridiculous ways. So yeah, let's just get this straight out of the way. We have Aerodactyl VSTAR with a very interesting VSTAR power. Its attack actually stops 240 damage, and you can put 3 cards from your deck in the Lost Zones. So yeah, still working with the Lost Zone effect. We've already checked out a lot of cards from the Lost Abyss set like Giratina VSTAR, etc. But now the entire set has been released, and thanks to Antoine Bourlet for translating these cards. We're here at PokeGuardian.com for the people that were wondering. So as we can see here, yeah, just lapping 240 could be pretty interesting. Because with Choice Belt and Galarian Zigzagoon, you definitely hit the 280 mark. You also are a fighting type Pokemon, which means you can one-hit KO Arceus even with big charms, etc. Unless they have Dunsparce. You also have the Ancient Star ability, which is very cool. It's not an ability, it's an attack. It's a V-Star power, but it's an attack that lasts for the entirety of the game. So as long as this Pokemon is in play, it gains an ability with the effect. Your opponent's Pokemon V in play, excluding Aerodactyl VSTAR, have no abilities. So every V Pokemon has no abilities for the rest of the game if this Aerodactyl VSTAR stays in play. So that means they cannot shut it off in any sort of way. If Aerodactyl, even if it's on the bench, if it stays in play, all the Pokemon Vs have no ability. So Genesect V with the Fusion Strike system, forget about it. There's also, yeah, it gains an ability. All Pokemon V in play. Also, I also think that has coming into play effects. So stuff like Crobat V, etc. and Luminion V also don't have abilities because then they are in play. So pretty interesting attack here. I wonder if it's going to be used. Maybe you could utilize this in some sort of control deck. This is only a 2-prize Pokemon. I love the 2-prize mechanic. So if you use this attack, all the abilities from the V Pokemon are shut down. So that could be pretty interesting. You could use this if you go like first and this is your secondary. You can shut off Palkia VSTAR's ability, and that means you can also shut down Starbirth, etc. So that could be pretty interesting. It only requires 1 card's energy, so it's kind of splashable. I wonder if Aerodactyl will see some niche play. There's also the Aerodactyl V, which can slap 120 and discard an energy from your opponent's active. So lots of disruption effect here. So let's see here. Galarian Perrserker V. So they're giving some love to some underrated Pokemon. Galarian Perrserker V slaps 20 damage for each card in your hand. As we've seen with Indeedee, that could be kind of ridiculous. So if you have 10 cards in hand, 200 damage. You could be playing Milotic to protect your cards from the hand from stuff like Roxanne and Marnie. So these could be cards working out with Galarian Perrserker. You could be playing the Lure module from the Pokemon Go set, allowing the opponent to just reveal Pokemon from the top of their deck. But you also can do that, doesn't matter, as long as you can just stack your hand. You can use Pokestop, this and that, so you can try to just get a hand size, and with Milotic you protect your hand. And then in the late game, this could be kind of a crazy attacker. Even though it only has 200 HP, it might be worth making a very cool deck with it. Then as Fantina, you may use this card only if you have 10 cards or more in the Lost Zone. Wow. During your opponent's next turn, your Pokemon, including Pokemon you play after this card, take 120 less damage from your opponent's V Pokemon. Okay. So we have some ultimate defense by our side, which could be great because you can recover this card with stuff like Palpat. So you can only use it if you have 10 cards or more in the Lost Zone, but having a 120 damage buff could be very significant, and could be the way when the opponent is not able to one-hit KO you in the late game and you are able to close off game. So might be an interesting supporter to use. 10 cards in the Lost Zone might be kind of hard, but as we've seen with the Giratina VSTAR deck, it is definitely not impossible because you have the Comfy, you have the Giratina V's basic attack, you also have access to some item cards like the suction, whatever it was, the Lost Zone suction stuff where you can put stadiums in the Lost Zone. There's ways where Giratina puts energies in the Lost Zone, so it could definitely get there in the late game to have extra defense. Then we have the Gift Energy. A very cool energy, as you can see. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 1 colorless energy. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, draw cards until you have 7 in hand. So basically, Lucky Egg into an energy. So yeah, it's actually Lucky Egg mixed into an energy. Pretty interesting for sure, because they cannot Tool Scrapper that away. There's a Sableye. Lost Mine. You may use this attack only if you have 10 cards or more in the Lost Zone. Put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way that you like for just 1 Psychic Energy. Wow, so many cards working with the Lost Zone. They also have that element on the border here where you can see some lost smoke here and there. So the very cool Pokemon. 12 damage counters is a lot. You can close off some KOs here and there. Knocking out like 2 Sobbles simultaneously is also an option. The thing is, 10 or more cards are in the Lost Zone, so this is going to be a late game card for the Giratina deck, as we've come to know that Giratina uses Psychic and Grass energies, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we're going to have to figure that out together, but there's a lot of new cards here that might have an impact. Kingdra, Stage 2. Once during your turn, you may choose either you or your opponent. The player you choose shuffles their hand and put it at the bottom of the deck, and then draws 4 cards. So, wow, okay. You may choose either you or your opponent. This ability is very interesting. Reminds me of the Marshadow Let Loose, because you cannot use it on turn 1 unfortunately, but it's a stage 2. So if you have like a horsey start, then the following turn you rare candy into Kingdra. You can use this ability and use some sort of a disruption effect on the opponent. If you have a bad hand, you can also shuffle your hand and put it on the bottom of the deck and then draw 4 cards. So either you can Marnie yourself or your opponent with an ability. So a strong ability. It's unfortunately on a stage 2, so I wonder if people will try it out, but having access to yeah, draw support in the form of an ability is pretty interesting. Next is Finneon. Yeah, we'll see here. As often as you like, during your turn, you may attach a water energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon that has the Swift Freely attack. Actually, the Swim Freely attack. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out how many Pokemon have the Swim Freely. There, right now we have Dewgong and Seadra. So there's 2 that I can see right from the get-go. You can, it's basically a water energy card from your hand to one of that. It's like Frostmoth, but you can also do it on the active Pokemon, but only with Pokemon that have the Swim Freely attack. So you can, this attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So you can stack up a ton of energies on Seadra and start sniping The problem I see here is that Manaphy is still everywhere, so that's pretty bad. Also, you Swim Freely is an attack that a lot of Pokemon have. It's Flip a Coin. If heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So pretty much you're invincible unless they road boss you, unless they boss you and go for the Radiant Greninja play. So this is not a great attack, but it could be a panic way you can survive some hits. Dewgong has also Swim Freely, but has the Arctic Return. Shuffle any number of water energy from your Pokemon back into your deck. This attack does 4 damage for every energy you shuffled in that way. So I can see you can play a basic Finneon and you can slap bazillion amounts of energy on your Dewgong. If you have like let's say how many do you need? 7. If you have 7 of them, you're gonna be able to, of course, go for the magical 280 number. This could be a cool one prize mechanic. You will definitely need cards like Nessa to recover your water energies, but you will need to have like 7 constantly, and you also are a stage 1, so a very cool rogue deck. Is it gonna be the next budget deck that's gonna be impacting in the format? Who knows. There's Ndidi. If you go first, you can use this attack during your first turn. Search your deck for any 1 card and put it in hand. Smart Service is the attack, but it only works 50% of the time because you only go 50% first, so it's not good. Donphan Overspend. If this Pokemon evolves this turn, this attack does nothing. Huh. I wonder if this works with Zoroark. Like, you transform into Zoroark, and then you evolve into Zoroark, then you transform into Donphan. That means you actually transformed and not evolved, and because it's a different Pokemon, you might be able to utilize it in the Zoroark box. Ruling still has to confirm this, but this is a nice attack with, of course, Zoroark, 1 fighting energy or 1 Aurora energy, and you utilize Choice Belt. You can hit the number on Arceus V-Star. There's Palossand. This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon for 1 energy. Spread, Telescopic Sight, 60 on Vs. Yes, unfortunately that spread is countered instantly with Manaphy. There's the Stonejourner. Attach up to 2 fighting energy cards. Actually 2 fighting energy from your hand to your Pokemon any way that you like. Fighting energy acceleration. Finally. We do have the Chip Ice Axe now. It's the Ice Axe from, I think, Astral Radiance allows it for fighting type energy acceleration. So I wonder if people will utilize the Stonejourner. The Stonejourner does have 140 HP. It also has an attack. Put the top card of your opponent's deck in the lost zone if you attack with it, but it needs way too many energies. But it can, of course, accelerate to itself. So because it's in any way that you like. Crocodile, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, and when this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, you may discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Okay. A random card from your in the lost zone. Nah, it's just in the discard pile. I don't think this is good. Galarian Stunfisk. If your opponent has a Stadium card in play, discard it. If you discard a Stadium that way, discard 2 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, Energy Disruption. That's pretty nice. I wonder if people will use that. Decks that play Stadiums. It's a basic. Can come out of nowhere to discard 2 energy. There's Metagross. This can actually be very interesting because we have still the Oranguru. We also still have a Rotom Phone. So once during your turn, if you drew this Pokemon from your deck at the beginning of your turn and your bench is not full, before you put it in hand, you may put it onto your bench instead and draw 3 cards. So you draw cards and you can cheat in a stage 2 evolution Pokemon instantly on your bench. That's actually not bad. Also, Meteor Mash slaps 100 damage. During your next turn, Meteor Mash slaps 200 damage. So with, of course, you can knock out, like, let's say you draw from the beginning of your turn and you have some saucer shenanigans going around. You can get this off on the first turn, going second randomly if you have a little bit of luck, and then slap 100 on a Subble, and then next turn you slap 200. The problem I see here with the 200 is that you probably will get knocked out because 170 is not a lot. Like stuff like Trinity, Nova can already get there. So this probably is not good, even though you can cheat it into play, which could be pretty interesting. There's Lady, the reprint coming back, so get your full art ladies right now. Search your deck for 4 basic energy cards and yeah, just put them in hand. So you have to reveal them to the opponent, but put them in hand. This could be ideal for stuff like the Frostmoth decks that we've come to known. Of course, Frostmoth with the Ice Dance, dropping as many energies as you want. Could maybe, yeah, if you're playing Radiant Greninja, you already have draw 2 and get 3 energies. So Lady is like in the early game better than a Nessa, so you can get your energies instantly into play. So this could be cool if we're maybe revisiting Lapras VMAX or whatever. Although Lapras was already starting to play Eldegoss, which searches out 2 basic energies every single turn. I don't know if Lady will have a room here. Maybe you have, of course, a way you could use this supporter on any other Pokemon that wants to have basic energies in the hand. Maybe we ever get something like, who remembers Embor, by the way? Like, dropping energies effect is probably where I see this having a home. Wailord. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So, basically 230 HP because you always have that 30 buff. If this Pokemon has any special energies attached, 120 damage more. So, you can slap 240. Choice Ballot Zigzag, you know where we're going here. You can set this up with Frostmoth, with the Ice Dance, poof poof poof, get the energies on. You're a 230 HP Pokemon, very hard to KO by the way, and we have Choice Battling Galarian Zigzagoon and Scoop Up Net Shenanigans, which means Wailord might actually be viable. Amoonguss, for your control lovers, whenever this card is discarded from your hand by the effect of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks, or abilities, or by the effect of your opponent's Pokemon item cards or supporter cards, basically anything, discard all cards from your opponent's hand. So, if they randomly discard this Amoonguss from your hand, like let's say discard a random card from your opponent's hand, you've already seen some effects with that. You can just counter that with Amoonguss, and if they discard Amoonguss, they discard their entire hand. That could be very hilarious. Pidgeot V, an infinite loop combo without having to use supporters, etc. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it back into your deck. So basically, if you have, like say Miltank, Air Balloon, you could be looping until infinity, right? So you Pidgeot, go back in the deck, you slap down Pidgeot, you promote Pidgeot. No, not that. You slap down Pidgeot again, you have Air Balloon, go, you don't even need Air Balloon, just once your turn this Pokemon is on your bench, you may shuffle it back. So basically you can slap down Pidgeot and put it back in the deck. Slap down Pidgeot and put it back in the deck. So you have an infinite loop instantly, so that could be cool, and you could wall off with Miltank and then nobody can deck you out. Unless they have Path to the Peak. But this is an interesting way you never deck out, right? Moving forward, Torton, choose a basic Pokemon from your discard pile and switch it with one basic Pokemon in play. Any attached cards, damage counter, special conditions, turns in play, and other effects remain on the new Pokemon. Okay. This is like Ninja Boy, right? From back in the days. You can switch a basic Pokemon. So what we can see here is that you could be attacking with... You can just use Regigigas, and suddenly a Regi can transform into like a Radiant Charizard in the late game and blow some stuff up. Or you could be utilizing this with a Blizzy. Blizzy gets bazillion energies in play, and then you use Torton and you swap it into an Yveltal Amazing Rare. There's a lot of capabilities, by the way, but this could be a very great card for sure. People can come up with something. Mimikyu, this attack does 10 damage for each damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in play. Each damage counter... Yeah, okay, so if you slap Trinity Nova, for instance, with a DTE, you slap 180. That means you can slap 180 with the Mimikyu, so... There's that. There's Hypno. Search your deck for 2 stage 1 Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Instantly summoning stage 1 Pokemon. I don't know if it's good. Which Pokemon do you want to summon with that? I don't see this having a room anywhere. Macargo. Put all energies attached to this Pokemon in the Lost Zone with the Lost Eruption. So all the energies. You do slap 220. Interesting. Rotom. Once during your turn, you may draw 3 cards. Chuck, chuck, chuck. It's like, but your turn ends. It's Intrepid Sword onto a Rotom V. Scrappy Short Circuit. You may put any number of tool cards from your discard pile in the Lost Zone. This attack does 40 more damage for each card Lost Zoned that way. This is a nice way to get like that magical 10 number, so you could utilize that Santina supporter cards. Yeah, there's also, I think, a new way to find tool cards. There's Kieran VMAX, which I think will be an archetype that you don't have to worry about. It's definitely going to be tier 1.5 or tier 1 or tier 2. It's great. Once during your turn, you may discard the top card of your deck if it's a water energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. So with Oranguru, you definitely have some stuff going. Max Frost, discard any number of water energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 50 more for each energy card discarded in that way, and there's no cap on that. So if you discard all your energies, you are actually slapping 270 damage with Choice Bell 300, and you can get the energies back on because you can use multiple Kyurem abilities. So if you have 2 Kyurem V Maxes, you can utilize it twice. Rotom Phone and Oranguru can get you there, so very great card for sure. Kyurem V Max. Attach any number of water energy from your hand to your Pokemon in play. So Insta Freeze is also a very great attack on the basic V Pokemon. Giratina VSTAR is the way you could not knock out Mew. This is one. Giratina V can knock out Mew V Max instantly because it states its attack cost is colorless energy less for each of your opponent's single strike, rapid strike, and fusion strike Pokemon in play. So basically, if the opponent goes for keep calling, you can attack. If the opponent slaps their bench full with fusion strike Pokemon with Mew V Max, you have an instant answer slapping attack for 0 energy or just 1 card's energy, depending on how many they have in play, or maybe a DTE depending on what they have in play. So a very strong Drapion card which counters Mew V Max. There's Giratina VSTAR, which can slap 250. This attack does 10 less for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So if it's fresh, you can with Choice Belt knock something out. If it already has damage, not anymore. Its ability, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed. Put 3 damage counters instead of 1 during the checkup phase. So I don't know if that is any good. There's Toolbox. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Reveal any number of tool cards you find there and put them in hand. So this could be working out with the Rotom V. There's Porygon Z. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, evolved Pokemon in play, devolve it by removing any number of evolution cards from it. Shuffle the removed cards back in the opponent's deck. So basically you can devolve everything, and then maybe you can take some cheeky prize cards that way. Porygon 2, this attack does 20 damage for each of your opponent's tool card and both players' Lost Zone. Okay, pretty interesting. There's Trevenant. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from your opponent's V Pokemon, your opponent doesn't take a prize card. Okay. So a way you can stop the opponent from taking prize cards. There's the Sunflora. You may discard up to 3 energy cards from your hand. This attack does 70 damage for every energy discarded that way. So 220 is the number that Sunflora is able to hit for a twin energy. It could be interesting. There's a Dragapult. You may discard any number of your benched Dreepy up to the number of your opponent's Pokemon in play. For each Dreepy discarded this way, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 100 damage to each Pokemon you chose that way. Wow. What a funky attack. Lots of attacks on that. So if the opponent has like a lot of bench Pokemon, or a lot of Pokemon in play, and you have 4 Dreepies, you can only, you're probably going to be like 2 Dreepies because you cannot discard everything, because otherwise Dragapult's not going to be doing too much. Pretty clunky, but a nice effect. Glacier, if the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it can't attack. So depending, it's not good because you can only trap for so long and people can boss around it. There's Spectre. Choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon and put 2 damage counters on each of them. Not too great, I would say. There's Shiftry. You may have your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon, and then its attack Rending Gust. Put this card, this Pokemon and all cards attached to it in the Lost Zone, slapping 210. The problem is 210 is not what you want to see. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon from your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 remaining HP or less. So an instantly counterable card for stuff like Mad Party, but could also help out. Let's say you're slapping not enough damage and it's barely not enough, then you can make yourself protected against damage from your opponents you slap damage into. Will it be any good? I don't know. Probably not, because we've seen a stadium with a very similar effect. When your opponent's Pokemon takes a prize, they put it in the Lost Zone instead of their hand with the Lost Block Barbaracle. And all the rest of the cards we've already seen before. So check out my video in the description below if you want to be learning about these cards. But yeah, this has been quite an interesting amount of cards in Lost Abyss. We're going to be getting these in Lost Origin. Which one is your favorite card? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to destroy the hell out of the like button. Go check out our sponsors. There's links down below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG Epic next. Thanks for watching. Peace.